Welcome back to another episode of Living with Sunshine. So in the last video, you all saw me and my dad install these cabinets, and since then I've had the above the range microwave installed. I was hoping to get the cabinets painted and primed before the microwave was installed, but my electrician was available earlier than expected, so I went ahead and got that done. I will be covering that back up. So I've already deglossed the cabinets. I'm gonna go over them and sand them one more time, and then I will be priming them, and then painting them. Today, again, it's just gonna be the cabinet boxes. It is a fresh, snowy, dusting snow this morning, so won't be able to use the spray gun today to get the cabinet doors primed, but the goal is to at least get the cabinets done and get those primed and painted. The primer that I'm using only requires 2 hours to dry before you can put a top coat on. And I still haven't decided what color I'm going to paint the cabinets. I know I'm going for white. I had looked at Sherwin-Williams Greek Villa. I had also looked at Sherwin-Williams Rare and Radiant. The white that you've seen me put on the walls elsewhere in the house is Sherwin-Williams Pure White. But after going on Pinterest and Googling, some folks said I should consider Sherwin-Williams Snowbound. So at some point today, I probably will go and look at that in person, while the cabinets are drying from the primer. If I decide to use Pure White, I bought that 5-gallon container of paint when I first bought the house, but I don't necessarily want to use that that line. They have an emerald line with Sherwin-Williams that's supposed to be good for cabinets, but we'll see what I end up choosing. But I know it will be a white. I've got a plan together to reface the bottom cabinets, and those are going to be a blue color that's in the same family as that color right there. Will not be the same color, but it will be in the same family, and it'll bring out some of the blue tones that you see on the countertop. So I will be covering some of this stuff up, but I'm excited for you all to be part of this next phase of the makeover in the kitchen. I will say, because my kitchen is the first thing you see when you walk through my front door, it's right in your face, I already feel like, when I walk through the door, even though there's no doors on there. They're different color than the bottom. So I can't imagine how I'm gonna feel when they are the color they're supposed to be. So again, come along for the ride. So what you'll see me doing here is covering all of my appliances and going back over and sanding the boxes. I did degrease them, as I said previously, but I wanted to sand them with 2 different sanding blocks and get in some of those crevices. And so this was a grueling process because switching back and forth between different grits was important. I wiped it down, and then I started with the first coat of primer, and I will tell you, getting that open shelf completed on the left was a doozy. I truly wish I was able to use my sprayer because there was just so many nooks and crannies to get in there. Then I went ahead and did the same process on this wall of cabinets. I went ahead and sanded, wiped down, deglossed, started the primer. You'll see that there's a gap in the ceiling. I do fix those gaps, put some trim up later in the process of getting these cabinets painted. All right, y'all. This is either gonna be the best makeover ever or the worst mistake. You know, with primer, you don't have to do multiple coats. I'm gonna do a second coat just because I will be leaving the inside of the cabinets is brown color, and I wanna make sure that the white paint is gonna adhere. You will see that I need to move the refrigerator because I need to paint the outside of that cabinet, and I don't want that little, what is it, like 12 inches of the cabinet to not be primed and painted white because it's gonna bother me and I know it's there. So you will see me do that in a second to finish priming, and then I will go back over here and do a second coat. Not necessarily gonna have you all watch me do that, but I also am going to paint underneath the cabinets white, just so that way it's not that brown color. I don't know. Actually, I should say I'm going to prime it. I don't know if I'm going to paint them too. I probably will. Who am I kidding? But again, I'm not going to make you all watch me do that. So here's to going to the store and finding the color that I want, because I am excited. This primer that I'm using is one of the top primers to use for cabinets, and it says dries in 1 hour. So by the time I finish the second coat and then put some socks and shoes on a coat to go out to the Lowe's, actually find the color, and I'm going to commit. I'm gonna come back with probably Snowbound or Pure White. And then by the time that all happens, I'll probably be able to get the cabinets, the first coat at least on today. And I might wait till the second coat tomorrow, but there are so many other paint projects I have going on. I'm not gonna let this momentum stop me. So thank you all for watching along with me. All right, y'all. So as you can see, the cabinets are primed. They've dried for more than an hour. So just got back from the Lowe's, picking out the color for the cabinets. I know I said I was gonna go with the Sherwin-Williams paint, but after speaking with the paint manager at Lowe's, he actually recommended this Valspar cabinet and furniture paint, since it was specifically made for this. But I did stick with the Sherwin-Williams color. So I went with Snowbound, which I wanted some slight contrast from the rest of the walls in this open space, since the kitchen opens into the dining room and the living room. So I wanted a little bit of contrast. You can see the walls are still another color. We'll tackle that another day. There's not that much wall that's exposed, but I want to wait until I get the bottom cabinets redone and painted before I truly solidify the choice that I want for the walls. So just know, in my mind of minds, I'm gonna have these beautiful cabinets, top half of the room, and the walls still gonna have my dad's fingerprints on it. The bottom cabinets are gonna be done, but I'm taking my wins as they come. So I'm gonna go ahead and just sand down with some 320 grit paper, sandpaper block, and then I will wipe those down and then go ahead and get started with the painting. So come along with me for this part of the journey. So I will tell you, this cabinet paint is definitely the thinnest type of paint that I've ever used. So it was very important to go slowly and to make sure I had the correct roller. You can see just where I'm painting it right now, just the difference in color of that bright white from the primer white. It was definitely the great choice for me to go with Snowbound. It is a true white color. I was able to get the boxes done or painted faster than primer. I'm not sure. Maybe the cabinets were soaking up that paint easier than the primer. And I will say this was an enamel paint, so this is my first time using that, and it definitely has a distinct smell if you've never smelled enamel paint before. All right, y'all. So I finished the first coat on all of the cabinets. I'm gonna finish the first coat underneath the cabinets. Again, I'm not gonna let y'all or have y'all watch me do that. But this paint is specifically, like I said, for cabinets. It's dry in 4 hours, and then you can recoat in 8 to 12. So after I do underneath the cabinets, I will be done for today, and I'll be back tomorrow to do a second coat. I'm really liking the color. I definitely can tell the difference between the primer and this color, and I see the difference between Snowbound and Pure White. So I'm definitely glad that I went with Snowbound for the cabinets. I'm still religiously checking the weather, because if I can get these cabinets primed, or the cabinet doors I should say, primed this week, I'm so looking forward to getting these doors back up. But I'm gonna go ahead and, like I said, do the first coat underneath the cabinets, and then I will check in with you all tomorrow as we do coat 2. Thanks. All right, y'all, I'm back looking like yesterday. Yes, didn't want to get any more paint on any other clothes. So I finished painting the first coat on both of the cabinets, or both sets of the cabinets yesterday. around 5:30, and this paint says it needs 8 to 12 hours before you can recoat it. So I'm up, it's shortly after 8 a.m. so I can get the second coat done, because this paint takes 4 hours to dry, and I would like to get all of the food and all the cabinet stuff back in the cabinets. So I'm really excited. I am definitely glad that I went with Snowbound. One of the things that I didn't put on the video last night is I did fix the trim. Oops, you can't see it right here between the wall and the cabinet. So I did trim that down and get that back up. Eventually I have to paint it. I will say this project is definitely forcing me to make decisions about the wall color in the kitchen faster than I was anticipating. This wall in these two walls right here, or I guess 2.5, because this is the little one right here, are the only walls left out exposed where you can see the old color. And now seeing how bright and stark white the cabinets are, I definitely think that painting the kitchen is now moving up on my list. So glad to have you all here. I'm gonna caffeinate and get started on coat number 2. I will say, getting the second coat done was actually faster than the first coat, but I was taking my time, making sure to look at where I had made some mistakes. I definitely had to open that window again, because this enamel paint is just interesting in the way that it smells. I was trying to be super careful to make sure I didn't get paint on the microwave. Had to go back over here and get that open shelf, because again, you saw how it was with primer. I wanted to make sure that every crevice was covered when it came to the second coat. And because this paint was so thin, I had to keep going and fixing this one. I'll say this open shelf probably took about 20-25 minutes on its own. Then I also was just taking my time on the sides, just again making sure I had everything covered the way I wanted it to be. And then of course got some paint on the walls. Whoops. All right, y'all, second coat is done, and I'm really loving the color. I'm so excited. So finally just finished cleaning up all the paint supplies. Everything is still drying. Again, it says 4 hours to dry, so that'll be around 1 o'clock. I can start putting the stuff back in the cabinets, because I'm clumsy, so knowing me, I might fall into the cabinet and I don't want any dents. But thank y'all for sticking around for this part, and the next recording will be me doing this same process again, but with the doors. All right, y'all, I'm back. I am trying to get the cabinet doors primed and painted. I've been patient. There's not an opportunity coming up where I can use the paint sprayer outside because of the weather. We've had 2 straight days of raining. So I went and bought a plastic drop cloth, taped it up on the walls. I have these painter's tripods that I have underneath the doors right now. I degreased them, deglossed them, filled the holes, took all the hinges out, sanded it, wiped them down again. So we're gonna go ahead and prime them slowly. I did actually end up getting a new angled brush. I already have one that you'll see that I use. It has a regular darker blue handle, but I bought this one. It's another one for wall and trim, 2-inch, but it said it's for smoother finish and reduces brush marks. So when I get to the front of the door, I'm going to use this lighter blue handled one. And for the back of the door, I'm going to use my regular dark blue handled one and see how that works. So wish me luck. I should have known when I first started that the way that I was sitting, my back was going to end up hurting. I ended up just talking on the phone, FaceTime, on my laptop, also listening to the podcast, because it was just a lot of maneuvering. And yes, I'm wearing this mismatched socks, but I was not prepared to do this the way I thought I was. But I really enjoyed that the primer again dried so quickly, so by the time I was done, I could flip it over using those painter's tripods and spend less time getting these first coats done. All right, y'all, I didn't think y'all would find it necessary to watch me prime the rest of the cabinets, but right now All 9 are done. 2 coats on the front, 2 coats on the back. And now I'm going to let them dry. And then, well, the last one, because I just finished the last one. I'm gonna let that one dry for at least an hour because that's what the primer says. And then I'm gonna start on the very first coat of the cabinet paint on the backs. I'm gonna do the backs and the sides first, 2 coats, so I can do them within 8 to 12 hours. So if I get the first coat of all 9 done tonight, I'll be able to do the second coat in the morning and may be able to get to the fronts by tomorrow night. So we'll see how it goes, but I just wanted to show you all what they look like. All right, y'all, I'm up. It is, what, 6:56 early this Saturday morning. I have been up for the last 30 minutes putting the second coat of the paint on the back of the doors. So this will take 12 hours to dry, which means I can actually flip these over this afternoon. I'm gonna sand the side just in case there were any little trips that happened, and put the little, I'm gonna buy some little cups to put underneath the doors for the doors to sit on, because the little orange things I had yesterday, there's not enough of them for all of these doors. I'm gonna go buy some like mouthwash cups, sand the sides, and then I'll be able to start the first coat of paint on the front of the door. So I'm really excited. After that happens, I'll be able to do the second coat of the front tomorrow morning, and then we'll see how that looks to see if it needs a third coat. Because this paint does say you might need 2 to 3 coats. 2 coats look really fine on the back, but you know, the front has those little grooves, so I want to make sure they look perfect. I'm also gonna have to buy 3 new hinges, because when I was taking those off to sand and degrease, 3 of them broke, so I have to do that. And I'm gonna be soaking all of the hinges, the old hinges, in dish soap in hot water, because they are disgusting. So let's take a look at what they look like now. So this is what the second coat looks like. They're in varying stages of being dry. I started with those over there, so you can definitely see the spots that have begun to dry already and those spots that are still wet. I do have my air purifier and fan on over here to get some of the fumes. Even though this is supposed to be low to no VOC, I still wanted to get that out of the house. So I've propped the kitchen window open and have the fan on. All right, y'all, it is, what time is it? It's 10:12 on Sunday morning. I am about to do the second coat on the front of the cabinet doors. I did not record myself doing the first coat because it was like 9 o'clock last night. I was tired and honestly, I forgot. But let's take a look at what the first coat looks like. And no, my house is an absolute mess right now, because since for this coat, I'm actually doing the fronts and the edges, I had to elevate them all. So the way I had them laid out on the floor was not gonna work. So I have cabinets on this counter, 3 on this counter, 2 on the dining room table, and then 2 on the floor down here. So excited to do the second coat to see what it will look like when it dries later today. I could do the 8 hours of waiting, which would be about 6 o'clock, before I decide to determine if I'm going to wait. Maybe it's 10 o'clock now. 2, 6, yeah, 8. Okay. To see if I'm going to do a third coat for the front. So let's see how this goes. Just know this was a poor life choice, doing these cabinet doors on the table. I got so much paint on the table, I didn't even try and clean it up until after it was done. But again, as always, the second coat went by so much faster and easier, and I was definitely thrilled with how they look when they were. All right, y'all, I am here and finally ready to reveal these upper kitchen cabinets. This has been by far my least favorite but most rewarding project that I've completed so far. It took a lot of time. There was 2 days of cabinet installation, and then 2 days of the cabinet box painting, and then these doors took 3 days of painting. So that was my whole weekend. So literally 7 days of getting this project done. And I would say I spent maybe $100 on this project, from paint and screws and rollers. Definitely have some imperfections on the cabinet, but is this a major upgrade from what I had? Absolutely it is. So let's get into seeing how it looks. All right. Ta-da! My friend is calling that appliance row because it has all of my appliances, but it fits so much better with everything there, having the microwave mounted. I'm so pleased with how this looks. And yes, I know I still need to paint the walls, but this project was about getting these cabinets up and getting them painted. And so that has been checked off the list. Love the handles. They are 10-inch long. This one, imperfection, I'll say, this one looks crooked. It's not. I actually have 2 different types of hinges on there. I need to go and fix this bottom hinge, and that'll fix that handle. It's not crooked. I measured it properly. I promise you. Used a template. But I'm just so thrilled. So again, thank you all for coming along on this journey with me on Living with Sunshine. I'll see you all soon. Bye.